Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Muscle Car Appraisal YouTube channel. It's Wednesday night, 9 o'clock, the place for you and your friends to be. Spread the word. Tell all your friends. Automotive discussions of many types. Have an old muscle car, have an old classic car, a hot rod, custom vehicle you want to talk about? This is the place. Have a modern muscle car, or even just a very special daily driver. We're happy to have a discussion with you about your car. So this past weekend, I had the opportunity and the pleasure to attend the Carlisle, Pennsylvania Chevrolet Nationals. Although they call it the Chevrolet Nationals, there's a wide variety of GM cars on the grounds. Many different things to do. There was Camaros of every generation. There were Hearst cars. There was a whole bunch of Hearst Oldsmobiles. The Fiero Club showed up. The Monte Carlo Club showed up. Just cars everywhere. Vendors, swap meet. They have a special building that they label as the Solid Lifter showroom, where they showcase a bunch of the solid lifter cars from Chevrolet. Spent quite a bit of time in there, talked to a whole bunch of really nice people. Solid lifter cars are making more horsepower, and in general the cars are worth more money. Special, unique, none of them have air conditioning. None of the GM solid lifter engines had air conditioning. We're going to bring you more on that in a future broadcast. But for tonight, Bob and I are traveling out of town, so we've recorded this video on an earlier date and time just to bring you more Wednesday night content. Again, Wednesday night, 9 o'clock, the place for you and your friends to be. Spread the word. Happy to have you all aboard. So let's get right to it. One of the many things I did on the weekend was met an absolutely super nice guy that has a 67 El Camino. He had it in one of the buildings on display, and there's a whole story behind this car. I'll explain it in the video. Speaking of that, I have this theory. Every car has a story. You may have a car that has a story behind it, and we would like to hear about it. We have an email address of mycaronmca@gmail.com. Send us your story. Send us some photographs of your car. Send us a short video clip of your car. We'll be happy to make your car part of our channel. So, with that being said, Bob, let's get right into the video of this 67 El Camino. Here's one for our Every Car Has a Story segment. This is a 1967 El Camino. This is a one family-owned vehicle since new. Built in California, sold in California, stayed there forever. The owner got a job transfer to New Jersey. The car stayed behind in California in a barn. Many years later, the original owner's son, who owns the car currently, went and retrieved the car and then performed a very nice full frame-off restoration. Car's been, or if you want to call it a truck, has been rotisserie restored. The underneath is painted just like the outside of the car, and it has also been wet sanded and buffed. The guy says he'll never do that again. But anyway, it's an original sheet metal vehicle. A bunch of the moldings have been changed with aftermarket pieces. His father bought the car originally as a tow vehicle. He was driving a Ford Falcon trying to tow something, and the vehicle was struggling quite a bit, couldn't handle the load, so he walked into a Chevy dealer and said, I want that car over there. It was a 396 automatic with a 373 rear end gear. No air conditioning. Was a power steering and power brake car right out of the factory. So in today's world, after its restoration, it has a 454 because that original 396 blew up, and it remained in the car until the son took it out of California, fully realizing that the engine was no good. So he garnered up this 454, put a bunch of chrome on it, and put the car together. It is not an air conditioning car. Car runs and drives absolutely phenomenal. He's put a bunch of miles on it. Got Gregory SS wheels, disc brakes in the front. Super nice vehicle. Being shown here at the Chevrolet Nationals in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Talked to this gentleman for quite some time. Got the history on his dad and the type of job that he had, the reason for the job transfer, what the son, current owner, did for a living, the escapades that he went through to restore this vehicle, including fixing all the dents in the floor. Oh, and great, they finally shut that roof fan off. So we'll get rid of some of that background noise. Take a look at the floor in the bed of this truck. Not a dent. That has also been sanded and buffed. A lot of hours, a lot of work. One family owned. And sometimes cars are all about the details. If you look over here, this scalp molding on the door has been replaced with an aftermarket piece, and they're just not quite long enough. So they're a little short there at the end. And then actually, if you look right there, this hockey stick piece of this molding is an aftermarket piece, and it's a little short up here. It's proper over here and proper line through the curve, but it's a little short up top. That's the difference between OEM and aftermarket sometimes. But overall, an absolutely fantastic big dollar restoration. Again, every car has a story. Send us yours. mycarandmca@gmail.com. We'd love to hear about it and share it on the channel. Thanks for watching. Okay, absolutely fantastic 67 El Camino, owned by one family since brand new. The original owner was the dad. The gentleman I met with was his son. He did all the work on the car. I mentioned those two moldings, not because I'm trying to pick on the vehicle. Again, fantastic vehicle. Give the guy a lot of credit. Did all the work himself. Body, paint, reassembly. I think the only thing he did not do on the car was the new upholstery on the seats. Other than that, he did it all. Great car. The reason why I bring up those two moldings is just to help educate some people. If you are interested in getting into a detailed restoration on any older car, you need to be aware of what's out there in the market for parts to restore your vehicle. Now, there are supply companies where you can open up a catalog and just flip pages and check off boxes, or get online and start checking off boxes. Give me this, give me this. You can basically build an entire car out of a catalog. If you're looking for a really high-end build, high-quality paint, number one, is expensive to buy. Number two, high-quality bodywork is expensive to pay for, and it is also very labor-intensive, especially if you're getting into rust repair, panel replacement, right up to sanding and buffing. It can be a very involved and very expensive undertaking. So be aware of what you're getting yourself into, and figure out in the beginning what you want in the end. Do you want a high-end show car that you want judged and you're going to make it a trailer queen? Is it something that you want to drive to a Cars and Coffee, a local cruise night, a local car show, Or are you going to be hitting up the show circuit to some of the indoor shows that happen during the winter? Are you going to trailer the car, drive the car? Do you care if you get caught in the rain? There's many, many different things to think about. And the higher level that you want for your restoration, you have to think about the parts. Because as was mentioned in this video, you have that scalp molding on the door and it ends up to be a little bit short. If you want perfection, you're going to have to find an OEM piece, whether it be something that you can refurbish or something that is NOS, which stands for New Old Stock, a part with about this much dust on it sitting on a shelf somewhere. If you want perfection and you want something high-end, you're going to need to find that OEM stuff. Some of the reproduction stuff is great, but as you can see there, they're also subject to shortfalls. When I come along as an appraiser to put a number on a car, I have to look at all the details. And I'm going to pick up on things like that. Again, I don't tend to highlight the negativity, but in this particular case, I made mention of it just to help you folks out there understand what your possibilities are. Spent quite a bit of time with this gentleman on the weekend. Learned about his brand new Ford dually pickup that he tows his 44-foot fifth wheel style trailer with. Just an absolutely great guy. Had a fantastic time talking with him on numerous occasions throughout the weekend. And I'll be bumping into him in the future. I'll be attending a Mecum auction in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. He's going to be there. I will bump into him at the Muscle Car and Corvette National Show in Chicago this coming November. So, great guy. Very much looking forward to bumping into him at some point in the future. So, one of the other things that I had the opportunity to do while at the Carlisle GM Nationals in Pennsylvania was observe a road course. One of our previous videos highlighted UMI suspension components. They were an attendee at this show. They had brought their trailer. They were a vendor, but they also sponsored a little road course on the property. And a bunch of people brought their vehicles and gave it a go. So they were having 3-lap time trials. And I paid attention to some of the cars. So, Bob, let's look at a yellow Corvette running around the road course. So that's a C7 Corvette. We're going to bring you 3 segments, 3 different vehicles running around this little course. Pay attention to driving style, horsepower, engine tuning. Does the guy get into the corner hard and get on the brakes? Is he on the gas a little bit too late coming out of a corner? Does he hit his apex properly? Let's see how many people out there can be a road course critic. So let's bring up Oh, by the way, that car definitely had aftermarket exhaust. They don't make that amount of noise fresh out of the box from the factory. So, Bob, let's look at our next car that I've labeled as horsepower. Definitely sounds like it's supercharged.
It's got a blower under there.
Yeah. Definitely some horsepower there. Okay, I labeled that one as horsepower because that car is definitely making more horsepower than stock. And as you can hopefully notice from the yellow Corvette, he has a different driving style. I'm assuming that this guy driving the car is an extreme enthusiast for road courses. The car seems to be set up very well, handles well, and again makes a ton of horsepower. So pay attention closely and you'll notice some differences between the Corvette and that car. So Bob, let's bring our third car in and pay attention real close to this one, to the audio portion, and see if you can pick up on any of the misses by the engine in this car. Okay, so how many of our viewers have super tuned ears and can pick up something on that car? When I was there, I listened and picked up on a few things where that engine could use just a little bit more tuning to bring it to life a little bit better. Being the extreme enthusiast that I am, my ears are highly tuned, but let's see who in our viewership land picks up on something. Put it in the comments. Let me know what you heard, what your recommendations would be to help that car along just a little bit. Not everybody's going to be able to pick up on it, but again, this is an automotive related channel. We're happy to talk about drag racing, road course, show cars, street racing. Oh, wait a minute, nobody does that. That's illegal. But anyway, got a high performance car. We can talk tech with you, and we're happy to do so. So compare all three of those videos. The car's running around the road course. Give us your opinion. Driving style, horsepower, the way the car handled. You saw that Vet on the first lap do a little bit of a wiggle up at the top end. Tires were probably cold. but once they heated up, they seemed to do just fine. So again, lots of observations to be made there. Feel free to comment below, and let's see what type of observations you make. So another one of the events that happened over the weekend at the Carlisle GM Nationals was actually they changed it. It's Carlisle Chevrolet Nationals. But anyway, there's all kinds of GM cars there. They had a burnout contest. I happened to be in the solid lifter showroom having a high-tech conversation with an extreme restoration specialist, and I could hear in the background that they were doing the burnout contest. And the building that I was in was actually downwind of where they were holding that event. And the smoke just started to drift into and through the building. So once I finished up my conversation, I made my way over and caught the last contestant. Quite interesting to see, smell, hear, and if you pay closely towards the end of the burnout, you can actually hear the tire start to disintegrate, and then I can hear the air pressure escaping from the tire because it just couldn't hold air anymore. That's how much he destroyed the tires. Ultimately, the winner of this was a early 70s Monte Carlo, and I could see his tires were just destroyed. So some of it comes down to actual technique as to how long can your car last just smoking the tires and absolutely destroying them. Do you want to be at a high RPM and a high mile an hour and the tire goes quickly? Or do you want to bring your RPMs down a little bit, slow your tire speed down a little bit, but yet maintain power to keep the tire spinning? That slower revolution of the tire is ultimately going to make it last a little bit longer, and there's still plenty of smoke. Again, I'm not critiquing these guys. Everybody's got their own style. Certainly listening to a high RPM while the tires are spinning is music to my ears. But Bob, let's look at this video and enjoy it.
Step up here, but give it a second and they'll wave you in and we'll have some fun with you.
See the guy scooping up some of the remains from the last car.
Car in place. Russell hosing down. our new king of the hill. Apparently Jordan's friends. How about Chris? Chris over here in the 73 Chevy is our king of the hill and our winner. And Chris, after Jordan rolls out, we'll have you pull up just a smidge and we'll take a picture, give you your trophy and whatnot. Congratulations to Chris.
So there you have it, folks. A whole bunch of noise, a whole bunch of smoke. That's also potentially a dangerous situation. You can see that forklift bring in the barrier behind the car. If that tire decides to disintegrate and explode, there can be shrapnel thrown from behind the car. If that carcass of the tire rips apart, but yet the tires are still spinning, you can whip that thing around and cause quite a bit of body damage to the vehicle. Many of you, I'm sure, have seen a NASCAR race where the tire just explodes, disintegrates, degrades, and that carcass is whipping around within the wheel well, causing body damage. That particular car had a bunch of body shop tape. You saw that blue tape in front and behind the wheels. That's going to protect the paint from chips and nicks and scratches from the general rubber that's flying around, but certainly wouldn't help if that carcass starts whipping through that wheel opening. So again, Carlisle Chevrolet Nationals, great time. We're going to have more information on this show in a future broadcast. Carlisle has many events throughout the year. They have a Ford Nationals, a Mopar Nationals, a spring and a fall meet. They have a Truck Nationals, Corvette Nationals, which I will be attending in August. So look them up. People come from all over to attend one of the events at the Carlisle Fairgrounds. Everything from extreme show cars, cars for sale, huge swap meets at the spring and the fall event. If you're looking for that hard-to-find part, it just might be there in Carlisle. So we'll have more Carlisle information for you in the future. But in the meantime, if you want to share your information with us, send us an email, mycaronmca@gmail.com. Questions, suggestions, opinions, ideas. What would you like to see on our channel? If you want to make your car part of our channel, we're happy to do so. Send us some photos of your vehicle. Send us a background story. And we'll contact you for specifics and make your car part of our channel. Tell all your friends. Next time you're at a car show, tell them you had stopped by the channel. Get them to watch. Wednesday nights, 9 o'clock. This is the place to be. We're happy to have you aboard. Thanks for watching. See you real soon.
Muscle Car Appraisal thanks you for watching our video. Please subscribe to our channel. Please like our video and hit the bell notification. And once again, we thank you for looking at our video. Have a great day.